Hey everyone, it's Adeline, and welcome back to the Finding Revival podcast. So, first episode today. This is pretty crazy and exciting. We are still in Oregon as of right now at the cutest little spot. We are boondocking right now, which I definitely like. If you guys don't know what boondocking is, it is basically where you're staying off grid, so you're not plugged in at all. A lot of my favorite spots have been boondocking spots. We stayed at this really cool one in the Badlands of South Dakota. It was like on the side of a cliff. It was really cool. So I wanted to do a little first episode, just me, super chill, answering some questions and sharing my story. So let me pull up some questions. A little description on my travel journey so far. So, we built our bus out in 2020 as a little COVID project. Kind of randomly, my mom started out by wanting an RV for travel, and we looked at several different RVs. Quickly discovered that we really wanted something we could customize and make our own. We were really close to getting this one RV, and then just heard about schoolies and converting them and all of that, and we were all just like, that sounds amazing. We have to do that. And so we started watching bus conversion videos, and that was all we watched for months and months and months. And then we looked at several different buses. We're getting kind of discouraged, just like not being able to find one. And then we came across the bus we have now. It's a 28-foot bus, so it's pretty small, but not quite like a short bus. Perfect size for us. I think if we were to go full time, I would want a bigger bus, but as of right now, it's kind of perfect for my family of 4 and then our big dog. So yeah, we found this bus on Marketplace on Facebook, and it was actually about an hour from my parents' hometown in Kansas, which was pretty crazy. It just felt like fate pretty much, and we went and picked it up a couple days later and started pretty immediately just like doing the floor and all of that. We painted it and customized it to really make it our own. The first time we took it out was, other than test drives and stuff, was summer 2021. My best friend lives in Virginia, and so we actually drove our bus all the way to Virginia to visit her, and then made a giant trip of it. So we went all the way up to Maine, which is so crazy to even think about. Like, we did that. And our bus was like half finished because we essentially built it out from October to about December of 2020, and then had to store it from about January to March, and then built it out from March to June, and then left in June. Super crazy, half done, but it was still just like pretty perfect, to be honest. Yeah, so we went all the way up to Maine. It truly was like the coolest experience. Everyone talks about Maine being amazing. It was amazing. And then we went and visited my friend. It was so incredible. We went all around that area, West Virginia, such a beautiful place. And then we went all the way back home. So that was our first trip. It was about 6 weeks long. So definitely not like our longest, but pretty dang long. And then summer 2022, we had done quite a bit more work on our bus and added a couple more things. And then that summer, we went to South Dakota, and we went all over South Dakota. We did the Badlands, the Black Hills, all of that. That was one of my favorite trips. It was really, really cool. Again, everyone always talks about South Dakota being so amazing. It really was super amazing. Of course, we went to Wall Drug. I will admit, It was slightly anticlimactic. It was pretty cool. It was absolutely packed when we went. It was pretty cool though. So then the next summer, again, we had also done more work. Summer 2023, we ended up going on a little bit of a shorter trip that summer because we had a whole bunch of stuff going on basically, but we went to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, which when I say that's one of my favorite places on this planet, it really is. I love Upper Peninsula of Michigan, specifically Copper Harbor area, the most gorgeous, like simple little town. Like, just I love it so much. The sunsets in the UP just hit different too, and the sunrises, like, I don't know. It's just such a beautiful place. And I really like that it's not like, at least from my experience, it wasn't any crazy, like, busy tourist destination either. Like, it was kind of this hidden gem. Yeah, we did that. And then we didn't do basically any travel. And then this summer, we did a really long trip. So we actually left in July. I think it was July 30th. And we will be traveling until mid-November. So pretty long trip. It's about 3.5-ish months, 15 weeks-ish, give or take. Well, our goal is to be back by my sister's birthday. That's kind of like our end to it. We actually started out with going back to the UP, Upper Peninsula, Michigan. That was our first destination for Schooly UP, which if you don't follow them on Instagram, go give them a follow. It is the most incredible event, and so many amazing people take so much time out of their lives to make it such an amazing event. And that is truly, like, if anything changed bus life and travel for me, it was that. Like, I owe all of it to that event, basically, because we went and it was literally the second day we were there, my whole family got just wrapped up by this incredible community of people who welcomed us with open arms and thought we were so cool and was just so interested to hear our story. I met about 20 other teenagers, this huge friend group, and everyone was just incredible. And hearing all their experiences with travel changed everything for me because it made me feel a lot less alone, hearing that some of them did find it very isolating. I'm the most extroverted person, and the idea of traveling with just my family and, like, I wouldn't be getting that, like, fulfillment from community that I got back home. And a lot of these teenagers had similar feelings where at first it was really isolating and lonely and they had such a hard time with it, and now they have found themselves and who they want to be more than ever before, and that's exactly what happened for me. So we spent 10 days at Schooly UP. They had events, they had a huge dance as a community at the end. It was just seriously the most core memory 10 days ever, and I quickly made like the best friends I've ever had. It was just amazing. So after that, our goal was to go to Oregon, so we kind of slowly made our way there. We went to Utah, did Salt Lake City. Love Utah, by the way. Like, it was like you had a city in the middle of this like beautiful mountain range. I was like, this is perfect. But yeah, and then after that, like I said, we slowly made our way up to Oregon and did stuff in Eugene and Portland and Tillamook and all of that. And then we went to the coast, which, again, the coast of Oregon is the most gorgeous. It is insane. I really like it. It's, I think my top 3 favorite places I've been are so far is the Oregon coast, Upper Peninsula, and I actually really like certain areas in Florida. I am a beach girl for sure. I really love the beach. All right, let's find another question to answer. Okay, let's talk about some of the highs and lows of traveling. So, I think we're going to start with the highs. I would say highs, definitely the sense of this like once in a lifetime experience. Like, I just recently went cliff jumping with one of my best friends at Crater Lake, and that was the craziest experience. Like, I am very scared of heights, and so to do that was insane for me. But it was like, I was so grateful to have that opportunity, and I feel like sometimes you really just have to be like, okay, when am I gonna get to do this again? We just gotta do it. Like, I say the phrase, like, send it all the time, and, like, that was a send it moment. Like, I was like, whatever, we're just gonna do it, and I did it, and I'm so glad I did it. So, yeah, I think those moments of that, I like to have everything planned out. I like to know what's happening. And the go with the flowness I've had to have traveling has been really hard, but like so good for me too. And you can tell, like, this is the most thriving I've ever been. Like, it's been pretty incredible. Um, and I really like the name of my podcast, Finding Revival, is definitely not a coincidence. The word revival has been so present this whole trip that we've been on. Like, I had to use it. The word revival essentially means bringing life back into something. And that's how it's felt. Like, I feel like you get caught in the habit and the routine of your regular life. And so to completely turn it upside down and start an entire new life is what it felt like. Like, it sounds so cheesy, but like, it's absolutely true. And I think the community brought a lot of community back into me, which I really needed. That sense of like community and like everyone being there for you. So yeah, that's why I chose the word revival. Back to some highs of traveling is seeing these incredible places that a lot of other people my age wouldn't get to see. That's incredible. The privilege of homeschooling, like, it's really, we're so privileged getting to do that. Because I know not everyone's able to. And I would say making a closer bond with my family is really cool too. Um, and getting to hear a lot of people's stories and make friends that I would have never made. Like, I would have never met any of these people in Nebraska, and a lot of them are more my type of person than anyone I've ever met. Okay, let's talk about some lows, because those are also just as important. Definitely the personal space of it. Like, we're in a 28-foot school bus. Like, I have as much space to my own that I could have, but it's still not as much as if I had my own bedroom. But, my family is very accommodating of that, and like, I usually stay up pretty late at night, and that is like my time to like decompress, and I'll watch a show on my phone, or usually almost like 99% of the time I sit and read on my Kindle completely by myself. We have 2 sets of doors blocking off the bedroom from the rest of it, and so I sit like at our dining room table and I'll just read my book until super late, and that is like me time. I think a very obvious one, but probably the biggest one, is missing my friends back home so bad. Obviously, like, we are as connected as we possibly can be online, but it's still just not the same when you have to leave your long distance friends. Like, I just left one of my friends like a couple of days ago that we were visiting for a little bit, and it is just the saddest adjustment. Like, I still am like, you just are like sad and like can't shake that feeling basically. So having long distance friends is like amazing, and just, it's incredible, but it also is really, really taxing sometimes to not get to be, especially if you're a person who really loves quality time like I do. Yeah, so I would say that's one of the biggest lows. And I do think like being part-time, I think you always have this sense of like being homesick. Like, I definitely struggle with that. Like, missing the routine and the always knowing what's going to happen, and the, you know, your room and getting to have complete time by yourself, which I don't really like being by myself very often, but I do need it like everyone every once in a while. So yeah, I think that's probably the hardest thing is especially with part-time travel, is like being homesick. But yeah, so those are some of the lows. I have talked with a lot of my full-time friends, and I think the lows of traveling are all about the same. Just like you're missing your friends, and it does feel super isolating at times, but having this whole community over the phone makes all the difference. Like, we have a giant group chat we talk on. Like, I call at least one of them every day. Like, all that stuff. It really is just such a privilege, and I feel really, really lucky to have this opportunity. Another question. How did I feel about it at the very beginning versus now? The weeks leading up to this trip were really hard. I had about a year at least, probably close to 2, to prepare for this long trip. And I think I had just like shoved it out of my head and like been like, I'm not going to think about it. It's totally fine. And then the weeks leading up to it were some of the hardest I've ever had. So saying goodbye to my friends back home was really, really sad, and having to pack my whole life in like 4 baskets was really, really hard. And figuring out how to like decide what clothes to bring and what books to bring and all of that was really, really sad. So there were lots of tears shed, and I definitely think I was really, really mad at my parents because I wasn't really sure how to process it, and so being angry felt like the easiest option. So I was just really, really mad at them. But that basically lasted until I met all those people at Schoolie UP. How do I feel about it now? I've talked a lot about that already, but I feel like there's a lot of bittersweet aspects to it, and I will never only talk about the positives because I think both of them are really worth hearing and really important. So I'm for sure going to keep talking about the negatives and the positives of travel and all of that. But yeah, I feel pretty good about it right now. I definitely think that there are a lot of things about it that I still really, really struggle with. But yeah, for the most part, I feel like I'm finally in a groove of like, that's the other thing, is you settle into it and you figure it out a lot more. But yeah, that is all of the questions that I have for this episode. I hope that y'all will come back for the future episodes. I appreciate all the support I've gotten already. Like, I don't even know how to describe how thankful I am for it. I am so excited for this opportunity to share my story and other people's. So yeah, I hope to talk to y'all in future episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye!